So today, got a bit of a treat. Going to find out all about St Ayles Skiffs.
Yes.
And here with Gordon, who is Commodore?
No, no. Of the club?
Of the club?
No, captain.
Captain of the club.
Yes.
And the club, which club's that?
That's the Kichrenan, Inverinan and Dalavich Coastal Rowing Club. K.I.D.s for short.
Brilliant. And we're on Loch Awe.
We're at Dalavich on beautiful Loch Awe, west side of Loch Awe. And it's a beautiful design boat with a cox and 4 single oars persons. And in the last 12 years particularly, that design has become hugely popular, not only in Scotland but increasingly throughout the world. And I'm not exaggerating, but in Scotland alone there are now over 70 clubs and over 150 of these boats, registered boats, either been launched and registered with the Scottish Coastal Rowing Association. Actually, the concept of coastal rowing is not really just about competition. It's really to cement community relations, form friendships, and to exchange culture. So it's much broader and deeper than that. But obviously, there's apart from the social element, there's also a very strong competitive element, and
which is what happens when you put people together.
This is what happens when you put people together. But not all clubs are competitive, and we're still finding our feet. We're a young club, and we've got a few people who would like to be involved in competitions a lot more, but more than a few who probably never will want to compete, but they love being out on the water in the boat because it's a lot of fun. And fun really is the name of the game, providing it's safe as well. Because last weekend we had a regatta here with 10 skiffs coming from across Scotland, including our own, and it was enormous fun, and the weather was beautiful, much better than it is today.
Yeah. and this was the first event on Loch Awe.
I believe it was. It was the first.
Certainly with the skiffs.
Yes. You won't know, but for people of my vintage, and I won't tell you exactly how old I am, but there was a very, very fine folk group called the K.I.D.s. And they had a really, really catchy song called the Mingulay Boat Song. Right. It actually wasn't about rowing boats, it was more about sailing boats, but it had a ring to it. So every
time you launch, you get the CD out and play it loud and clear, do you?
I did think about that during the regatta, but we never have. We never have.
Just bagpipes. So this is where the regatta was, and you were...
This is the start.
You're starting here.
Yeah, and we had the start line here with 10 boats ranged across the loch. Yeah. And then we rowed up to Kichrenan Hotel, which is 7.4 miles north.
Nautical miles?
No, statute miles. So a bit less. Yeah. There was the option to change crews. Yeah. Quickly, within 10 or 15 minutes, and then row the 7.4 miles back. So it was just over 14 miles.
So that's quite a way, actually.
It's quite a way, quite a challenge, and we didn't come last, but we didn't win a prize either. So
well, yeah.
But we learnt a lot. We learnt a great deal.
So we're about to meet the not the whole team, but should we say key members? Or?
They certainly are that. Yeah, they certainly
Brilliant.
are that.
So, and how many are you all together?
I think we're about 22, 23 members now. Not all of them row, but most of them do. Yeah. So David Hardstaff's our vice captain.
Brilliant. And Skull and Crossbones.
And a key rower. Key rower. His wife Heather is our treasurer. Heather. All the money is entrusted with her. Brilliant. Okay.
My treasurer also.
And then we have Chris Cowley, who's on the committee as well as our safety officer. Brilliant. He's an experienced kayaker, as indeed is David and Heather. Yeah. And Pam, his wife, Pam Cowley.
So the build was something you did almost solo?
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I had no notion that the boat was going to be used after it was built.
All right.
I mean, not because I didn't think it would float, but because I mean, my wife thought it was a bizarre thing to do, is to build a boat and not know how it was
It's a bit random.
used.
It is a bit random, isn't it? Gordon? I mean, and is it? It must be quite hard work, is it?
It's a good workout.
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely a good workout.
Especially the sort of distances you were doing in the last week.
Yes, we'd never rode that distance before,
No.
or anything like it, had we?
And the boat's quite stable on the water. It's got,
Actually, they're very stable.
got quite deep.
Because most of these boats are used, you know, on the coast.
Yeah.
It's quite unusual to have one on a freshwater loch. Fortunate enough to win a national awards for all lottery in March. Which was almost enough to build a second skiff commercially, not self-built.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite enough, and as luck would have it, within a fortnight we'd won another award, the K.I.D.s Wind Farm Community Fund. So the combination of the two awards is nearly £13,000. So not only can we have another boat built for us, which is being built by the tall ships at Riverside in Glasgow.
Yeah.
But we've got the money to have a different oar set and a trailer and other bits and pieces.
Yeah. It's so I know nothing about boats.
Okay, nor do I really.
But it was, but fundamentally, you're able to buy a mould.
You basically, there's a basic kit. Made by Jordan Boats, now in England, but they were in Fife. And what you get with the kit, you get a mould, which it enables you to build the boat upside down.
Yeah.
It seems odd, but the boat is built upside down. And then these strakes here, these pieces of marine ply, are laser indented into sheets of marine ply.
Yeah.
So you cut those out. But and then you have a mould for just a pattern. These are just patterns, you understand.
Yeah.
For the bow and the stem, which is, and then everything else you have to source yourself. All the hardwood for the keel, for the gunnels, for the stems, and so on. And the boats have to be standardised. You can't do your own.
So
thing.
it's a one design fleet, basically.
Yes, it is. I mean, there are differences in the suspension system and how people lay out the boat, but in terms of overall dimension, it's got to be 22 feet 8 inches long, 5'8" in the beam.
Yeah.
And there are certain things you can and cannot do. The one area of difference and perhaps controversy is the oar design. So that it's fairly basic. So they sit on these thin thole pins here, but there are different systems.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a flat blade like that. But the blade shape can change fundamentally, and we've learned that particularly last weekend. And also the blade weight and balance.
And have you thought of a name for the new boat? Any more islands?
Well, I've thought of a name, but I haven't divulged it, and that'll be a committee decision. Yeah, Loch Awe is a stunningly beautiful loch, quite remote in the scheme of things. As David has said, it's about 26 miles long. It's very deep in places. It has its hazards. It's cold almost invariably, even in the summer months. But I mean, the beauty of it takes some beating, and the sadness is that it's grossly underused recreationally, except for fishermen. This is another reason for having an established club on this loch. Yeah. But it doesn't matter what age you are. I mean, there are people rowing in their early 70s, and there are people as young as 16, male or female. Regardless of your beliefs.
The crew can be any mix, can't they?
Well, it can, socially it can. In competitions, which tend to be sprints rather than long distance races, they do have categories, both age group and male and female and mixed, but the wide-ranging categories.
Yeah.
So we want to broaden out to younger rowers. I mean that, you know, in young 20s. We've only got a couple of people in their 20s at the moment.
Yeah.
But also teenagers as well.
Brilliant.
We'd love to do that and get schools involved.
So the core's going to be on the skiffs, but if grants come along and so on and so forth, it strikes me that you would be keen
to apply
to broaden the range, really.
I feel the next thing we need is a place where we can store the boats, you know, a base where we can store the boats and even have, you know, for want of a better word, a small clubhouse where we can meet.
So if anybody's watching this YouTube video has got a bit of cash,
please.
a bit of land they want to, then you know where to send it.
Yes,
well,
absolutely.
thank you very much all for your time, because it is a Monday, and going through the ins and outs of the new club and the boat.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.